Alright, me again, Smith Jack, USMC. Another favorite knife review. Kind of a response to user Nothing Fancy. I love his site. Guy's got a lot of time and friends that'll loan him great gear to mess with, not to mention his own stuff. Check him out sometime, very educational. I've been around the block a few times myself, and I still find it a learning experience. If you ever stop learning, my friends, I'd like to meet you and shake your hand, because you're obviously going to be the smartest person in the world. So, anyhow, we have here, if anybody knows anything about knives, they'll recognize this as a cold steel model. I am a fan of cold steel, diehard. I've traded off buck knives, Spyderco knives, guns, so I could get cold steel knives. But I'll tell you right now, this particular model is the scimitar. Is probably my all-time favorite cold steel knife to carry for general all-purpose use. I'll start with this one over here. This one's obviously been modified. This is the original design, VG10 stainless steel, which is a very good steel. Spyderco uses it. A few other big names. I'll try to think of them right now. You probably can't read it right there. Right here it says scimitar, as in the big sword scimitar carried in Persia back in the day, when men used to fight with more civilized weapons like swords, when they hacked each other to pieces rather than shooting one another and blowing each other up with bombs. Right? Which one's more civilized? Well, anyhow. Alright. Now, this is an incredibly lightweight knife. And it has a liner in it. That's the great part. One thing I really love about it, it's got a titanium liner in it and a titanium lock. Actually, let me rephrase that. It's got a titanium lock spring, and it has very thin, I'm pretty sure it is titanium liners in it. They may be lightweight steel, light gauge steel, but in the end, overall weight on this knife is just superb. I've had the Recon ones. There's 3 of them, that's why I said that, the Recon ones. I've had a couple of them. They're a bit heavy and they're a bit bulky. This has a thin profile, except for the ball and up here. Obviously the pocket clip. This little spine on both sides is nice for the pocket clip, because you have angle and angle, so you don't drag the grippers on your pants so much. The clip, when you first get it, is always heavy. If anyone's ever bought a cold steel knife, you know that that's a tight clip, and you grip it with some pliers here, and you pry this thing up a few times or unscrew it, put it in a vise and pull on a little bit to stretch it out, give it some play so you don't tear your pants up, especially if you wear dress pants. I mean, they'll tear that nylon to pieces. Anyhow, so if you ever seen the cold steel video, I think they hang about 150, 200 pounds of weight on the ball, on the vise, on that spring. It's a good spring. Or you've seen the old jarhead doing pull-ups and swinging off of this thing there in their video too. It's pretty awesome. I wonder how he got that lucky. But anyhow, now you notice the shape of the handle. Got a very pronounced curve to it. This is Persian, I'll tell you that right now. And this blade has a significant back curve to it, which is also of Persian origin. Now, back in the ancient times, there were some pretty bad dudes that used to live out in the deserts there in the Iranian desert and Iraqi area and Saudi Arabia, and it was all known as Persia. But these would have been a fixed blade knife. This handle would have been made of some type of bone or exotic wood or something like that, and the blade would be 8-10 inches long, very pronounced, and also double edged, or like this one has a very nice false edge on the back, which gives it outstanding penetration. That's why I love this for a multi-use knife. The draw cut promoting curve to it is excellent for all types of work and cutting tasks, stripping wires, cutting wood. I say, old boy could take it out in the woods and split logs with it if he can miss the thumb stud. Right? Okay, so it can double as a fighting knife if you have to get out of a situation in a pinch. Pretty slick locking, slide and open mechanism. You don't mess around with it. It doesn't drag around a lot. It's pretty smooth. Right? Now, it does come in a full serrated model. It also comes in one that's coated with a black epoxy paint. That's what this one was. I bought this one black, plain edge. Awesome. I loved it. Within a week of owning it, I bought this one, so I'd have a second one just in case something happened to my first one, because I liked the first one so much. And I probably carried 10 or 15 knives since then for about 2 days, and I always go back to my scimitar. Now, this is the way it's supposed to be. This is the way you buy it. Anywhere from $65 to $70 for this knife. It's not bad. High quality, very high quality. You do all kinds of stuff with it. I'll talk about how to operate here in a minute. I want to tell you the story behind this other one with a modification to it. It was a black epoxy coated, I say epoxy coated, probably had epoxy baked on paint, Teflon embedded or whatever. Really great paint, actually. It's very durable. But I used this knife so much in so many adverse conditions, it had pretty well worn off within a year. I used this knife for everything. So I dismantled it, took the whole blade out, took the old Dremel with some light sandpaper, and I just removed it all. Over the year, I reprofiled this blade after it was used so much. It gained a little damage here and there. And I pretty much took out the hollow grind and made it more of a flat grind. And then one day, I was looking at the Cold Steel catalog, maybe the Spyderco. I was watching, and I saw that little loop they put on the back of the knives now, so you can catch it on your pants leg. So when it's in your pocket like this, and that hook's down there next to the back of your pocket. Now this will tear up your pockets. I'll just tell you that right now. You reach in your pocket and you grab that knife and you drag that baby out, and it catches on the edge of your pants, right? It just snaps right open. You got a loose grip on it on the end, but it's open and it's in your hand. All you gotta do is tighten down on that ball, and you are ready for action. Emergency, bring it on. One-handed opening, just drag it out of your pocket. I did this. I was very careful with it. I know about steel. You don't want to destroy the temper in your steel by overheating the blade with some grinder or something like that. And this doesn't weaken it. It already had a hole drilled in it. So I just used the holes as a starting point. Cut in there. Large handle. It's very comfortable. Fits in the hand nicely. I just find this knife really easy to operate. I love its cutting capability, penetration. For you knife fighters out there who love to fight with knives, you want to do that crazy reverse grip that I've read is absolutely worthless, but looks really cool in movies. Loosen the hand, back turned to you. You can get stabbing action, right? And slashing. Awesome knife blade. I love it. Carry it everywhere. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, just look for yourself. I've used this one to death. And, you know, worked it over. It's still good. It's got a lot of life left in it. Semper Fi, hoorah.